Hey guys, it's Juan with Tinker Garage. Just want to say thank you for tuning in. Today I'm going to be working on my truck, the 2008 Dodge Dakota. Today we're going to be replacing the water pump, the thermostat, the hoses, and we're going to completely flush the system. Currently my truck has 215,000 miles on it. Last time I flushed the system was at 100,000 miles. So I noticed the other day when I pulled into my driveway, there started the little spot of water or of moisture underneath the truck. First I thought it was oil, and of course I was like dreading it, but it wasn't oil, it was actually radiator fluid. So when I got underneath the truck, I could see the signs of the water pump. Looks like it's coming out the little leaking hole that's on the bottom of the water pump. So more likely it's probably going to be my bearing. And what I'm talking about, it's going to be that little hole that's underneath the bottom, the very bottom. Usually that starts to leak first, and then that's just a sign that your bearing's going out, and it wasn't a gasket. And I guess these ones are prone for the gasket to go out, so I got pretty lucky. I guess it's the bearing going out, and I got lucky that I got 200,000 miles out of that water pump alone. So this is the new one, aluminum. This does not have. I'm sorry. My truck has the fan clutch assembly attached to it, so I have to remove that. Mine doesn't have the electrical fans like some of the other makes and models that carry that same motor. Thing is, these aluminum. I guess these naturally come with plastic fins. Like I said, I really can't complain. I've gotten 200,000 miles out of that, and there hasn't been any issues. So this is one of the parts that I'm going to be replacing today. Not only that, I'm going to also go ahead and replace both hoses, as you can see here, upper and lower. I'm going to replace the thermostat housing. Why? Because that's made out of plastic. And figured if I'm going to be down there anyways, might as well replace it all, see if I can get another 200,000 miles out of it. And the thermostat. So this thermostat in my truck, it's 190 degrees. I'm putting 180 degrees thermostat, and that's going to be for future projects, hopefully. So, and then I'm doing the radiator fluid. That's the high concentrate, so I'm going to mix it with my own water, because usually it's a little bit cheaper doing it that way instead of buying the gallon jugs that are already pre-mixed, because you have to buy more of them. I actually bought extra gaskets for the pump and the thermostat, and that was by accident because I didn't realize that they actually came with the gaskets. I might keep them, I might send them back, I'm not too sure. Always good to have extra ones on hand. Never know what's going to happen, right? I am installing this myself, so I might mess it up. Like I said, I'm not a mechanic by any means. I've been working on my truck since I've been little. I've done a couple water pumps in different vehicles, and I like doing stuff myself. So, hence the channel, Tinker Garage. I like to tinker things. Also got some gasket maker, even though that already has a gasket in it, and so does the thermostat. I'm going to probably apply just a really thin coat around it, just to kind of bulletproof the whole system. But this stuff works amazing, so I'm going to use that. And then, if I have to do any referencing, I'm going to go back to the original Google. It's called a book. I know a lot of you guys don't know what that is, because you guys are probably really young, but original Google it. Which is a book, which is a manual. So it took a while for that manual to come out. So, but I figured I'll take you guys along with me so you can see how easy it's to get done. One thing I don't have the special tool for the pump pulley, which are going to be here. You go. This tool normally locks into these two holes right here, and it's like a wrench system. Usually you have a pry bar that you put it there, or not a pry bar, but like a cheater bar that you clip in, and then you get it. There's a nut that goes on this end right here that you pop out and it goes through. So, all right, let's get to it. All right, guys. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna disconnect the negative part of the battery. Of course, that's an Optima battery. So I love Optima batteries. This is my second one that I've owned. The next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start draining the radiator. There's a pitcock on the very bottom of the radiator, right underneath on this side where my finger's at. See it? Right down there. You just kind of have to pull and twist, and then it'll drop, and then you start dropping your fluid. So give me 1 second, I'll show you guys that. Alright guys, so I had to remove that covering there, which are just these plastic clips, and then the frown shroud actually won't come out unless I pull the fan clutch off. So there's only 2 bolts that hold it on, which are up here and right here. These were 12mm bolts, I think. Actually, no, I'm sorry, 13 millimeter. Come right out, and on the bottom, it's like a peg hole, the style that holds it in there. So I tried to maneuver it out, couldn't get it out. Actually, might unclip this because I already drained it. Just kind of help me pull it out and have me easier access to the clutch fan. Okay. Alright guys, as you can see, the fan clutch assembly, it's been removed. And I actually had some really trouble time because I didn't have the correct tools. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So for some reason I thought this open up wrench would fit it, and it did not. And then my channel locks and then my monkey wrench weren't big enough to fit, so I ended up having to use these vice grips here that I actually put on the actual bolt of the flank clutch, and I ended up making my own I guess pin type wrench out of just some old flat stock that I had that I bought from Home Depot. So I just measured the holes, got some bolts, and I was able to just literally put in the pin, and with those vice grips was able to twist it and unloosen it just like that. Kind of frustrating because I thought I was gonna be able to do it just with the channel locks that I had, but they just weren't long enough. So if you're gonna buy the pin tool, that helps tremendously. They also have the one that's like a plate that has a breaker bar that goes on top of it. The ones that I found at my local hardware store were like 40 to 50 bucks, so I didn't want to spend the extra money on that. So screw it, I just made my own. So now we're gonna go check everything, make sure everything's nice and tight. Well, this is what's gonna be removing anyways. That is my tensioner spring, that's good. That's my idler pulley. Sorry if I'm saying it wrong. Yeah. As you guys can see the watermarks. Yeah. So either, like I said, underneath back here there's a kind of like a relief valve where it can drip out once your bearing's gonna go out. It doesn't seem like my bearing's going out, so maybe it was probably just my gasket, because I can see the watermarks right here, right here. So yeah. So like I said, I got the clutch flange out. I'm gonna start taking these bolts out, and I'm gonna actually have the newer one right next to me so I can transfer the bolt to location so I don't confuse my bolts. I know some of these are gonna be longer than others. I don't know if it's this one and this one, but I really don't want to push a bolt through the block and have more issues than I have now. So sorry guys, it's been one of those nights. I spilled Radiator fluid all over my garage floor, so that's been fun. But anyways, so yeah, so let's get this bad boy off. All right guys, so you can see this is the old pump here, or the water pump. It looks like what actually failed was my gasket. So that's what was causing it to leak. Well, it's a really slow leak, but it looks like that's what was going, because it was all the way around the water pump. So this is a new pump, and the bolts are in there. As you can see, I numbered them in the way you're supposed to torque them down, and I also marked on the sides which ones are the long bolts, and all the short bolts are pretty much the same size. So I don't get confused. Like I said, I want to put a bolt through the block. And then these are the thermostat housing. So that's not bad for 200 miles, 200 plus, or 200,000 plus miles. That's the new one. This is the new thermostat. Like I said, that's 180 degrees. This one's 190 degrees. This is what originally came with the vehicle. Like I said, not bad. These are actually still in good conditions. I'll probably save these just in case I need them for emergency parts. These are the new upper and lower. I'm sorry, it's really late right now. I can't even think of what I'm thinking about. Heater hose. So thermostat bolts are 8 mLs. The water pump housing were 13 ml bolts. You have to get the idler pulley out of the way. That was a 15 ml. But yeah, that's what I had to do. Like I said before, I had to make my own water pump pulley wrench. So let's see, do I have any flashlights right now? Sorry, my batteries died on most of my flashlights. It's really late. I started this project really late. Sorry, it's gonna be a weird angle. So there's a pump. Still gotta clean it. And there's a thermostat. So yeah. Alright guys, as you can see, I'm transferring the bolts back onto the new pump. I just put the gasket maker on top of the other gasket. Like I said, I want to kind of try to bulletproof the system. See if I can get maybe another 200 miles out of it. Like I said before, the reason why I put the bolts back in the old pump is so I know which bolts are going where, especially these long bolts. Like I said, you don't want to put a long bolt in a short bolt hole, just for the fact is you might puncture the crankcase because it's aluminum, and then now you have oil and all that other good nasty stuff in your system, and you just compromise the whole system. So like I said, I use this as a template so I know my stuff is good. So like I said before, it was actually my seal, not my bearing going out. It was a water pump seal. An actual water pump seal or bearing holes are actually on the very top of the pump. So yeah. Another note: if you're gonna use power tools, make sure your bolts are seated in there at least within a couple threads. Because if not, and you use like an impact gun, you're gonna strip the shit out of those holes, and you're gonna cross thread them, and you're gonna have even a worse time than before. I know you guys are saying, they're like, well, it's gonna be a pain in the ass right there. Oh, God. Where are you? Where's number 4? Number 4. This gun is actually, it's only less than, I think it's at a 12 volt. That's 5. That's 6. So I know it's not torquing down like like the DeWalt 3/4 inch impact ones, like those can really torque down. This one really can't. So I'm not worried about this actually over torquing it. Actually, it's a 12 volt. So yeah. So now water pump's on. I just need to go down and torque the bolts, and then we're good to go. Alright guys, you're probably wondering, what am I doing? So, I have the water pump back on, put the thermostat housing back on. Like you can see earlier, I was having some trips with the water hose, or the upper and lower water hose. Actually, the lower water hose, because the diameter hose is different, so it wouldn't fit the original hose clamps. So I had to go back. Sorry, had to go to the store and go buy some more hose clamps. So now I'm gonna actually flush the system. So right now, as you can see, there's no thermostat in the thermostat housing. I'm gonna put water in the tubing and make it circulate and flush the system. So I just flush the system. So new water pumps in, new thermostat housing, new thermostat, and like I said, I had to get new clamps for the lower hose because the diameter of this hose was actually thicker than the original. So I had to get those ones. Actually, those were a real pain. These seem to work perfectly. These are fine. This actually looks a lot flimsier than the original OEM one. But now we're gonna start filling the radiator. Like I said, I'm using high concentrate and I'm mixing 1 quart water per 1 quart concentrate radiator fluid. So yeah, almost done. Alright guys, time to put everything back together. So on the threads of the water pump I put anti-seize because I don't want that seizing up on me. Like I said earlier, I do have some plans on doing some other type of mods. So yeah. So first I'm gonna put in the shroud. God, that went in way easier than it came out of, I swear. Alright, so like I said, it had some peg holes that it goes into. One on the right, and then one in the middle left. See, and I normally put the bolts in the holes so I don't lose them. I can put them in a magnet tray, but my magnet tray has other stuff in it right now. Alright, so the fan shroud, 13 ml. There we go. There we go.
So with me, I put consistent pressure on both sides, so I grabbed both fan blades on the side, pushed it in, and kind of just walked my hands around. It went through just fine, and that's the reason why I put the shroud in first, because I could try to put this in and then try to work this way around. It would have been a lot harder, so that's why I put the shroud in first, and then I did the fan clutch pump. So time just to kind of squeeze it down, lock it in, and then we're done. Alright guys, so this is the tool that I made. Like I said, this would have helped me out way, saved me so much time last night. I started around midnight when I started working on this, and it just did not work the way I wanted it to work. So like I said, I grabbed the distance between both holes. I drilled it closer to the end because of the pulley. One bolt goes in one side, other bolt goes in this side, and there you go. Now you have your leverage points. This cost me nothing because I already had this in stock, and I already had the bolts in stock because I don't throw anything away. I went to O'Reilly's and I actually asked them how much it would cost to rent out the pin spanner wrench, and they said it was gonna be $65 for me to rent it out, and they said you get most of that back after you're done. But I really didn't want to shut out another $65. Don't get me wrong, this whole thing didn't cost me as much. I say if I took it to a mechanic, yeah, it would have saved me a lot more time, but oh well. All right, so now, like I said, I'm using vice grips. You guys are probably, why vice grips? Well, if I had to torque down on the vice grips, this end part is a pole. I'm actually going to put a pole and put a cheater bar and use it to kind of help me if I needed to. That's the reason why I went with the vice grips. But I didn't have to go that route, so lucky enough for me, I got lucky. Ooh, this shit's still warm. I know this video's kind of long, guys, sorry. But like I said, hopefully you guys learn from my mistakes. So if you have to do a water pump job, you can see what tools I didn't have and what tools I needed, and you can just grab them. And the funny part was I was going to order that pin wrench from Amazon. Like I said, the other auto parts store was like $45 to buy one. I was like, I really didn't want to buy one because I'm only going to use it once, maybe twice, unless my buddy needed maybe help his car. But here's one. Hitting on the vice grips. Put in one hole. Put in a hole. There we go. Give it a quick push down. There's that. Oh, my vice grips. sure everything's tied. Another thing is I don't have a pressure gauge to actually put on the radiator and pump it up to, this is 16 psi to make sure I have any leaks. So we're just gonna have to tell over time if I have any leaks. Hopefully not, but yep. So that's how you guys do a water pump and a 3.7 liter V6 in a either 2008 to 2011 Dodge Dakota. I know the Ram 1500s had them in that same year. Also Dodge Nitros, Jeep Liberties, so and also the Mitsubishi Raiders. So all those vehicles have the exact same motor, and all of them have the exact same water pump right in the front. So hopefully this helps. And yeah.